Hey, listen, we got a great call lined up today. As you know, this is the last Monday of the year, and it's called what? Magical Monday. This young lady hails from Northern California. She is a fireball. I personally, I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed her last week's conversation. She just had a come to me conversation, and I loved her conversation last week. And it was just what? A holiday conversation. That's what it was titled, Holiday Conversation. So let's see what she got for us today. She's a traditional business owner. She's a mom and a wife. She's got a handsome husband named Bragg. We had this thing going on, not like y'all thinking. She's a community volunteer in her area. She's been an AC in 11 years. She's 3.5 years as a regional vice president. She's working her way to senior vice president. Without further ado, can we give a strong welcome to the one and only Miss Keri Roeder?
Good morning. Good morning. Or as Mr. Thomas would say, good morning, 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 good morning. You know, what's funny is very few people wake up like me and Mr. Thomas. And if I were to do that in my house before my family were actually be functioning, I would be fired because I've actually have done that. I wake up way like Sally, and here we are. Let's have a great day. And my husband and my daughter are like, stop jogging. Why are you so cheery? Normal people aren't cheery so early in the morning. And that's one of the things I love about these calls with Mr. Thomas, because you wake up like I do. So you can tell I just woke up. For those of you who were on the call last week, I'm in Pismo Beach in my little hat for our conversation today, knowing that I'd be crawling out of bed to have this conversation with you all. And that's one of the beauty things about what we do, right? Absolutely. So last week, hopefully you all remember, like you said, the conversation was about holiday conversations. And for those of you who may have missed that call, basically my conversation with you was just about how to not do what my husband calls is a peakitation when you're out having these holiday conversations, that you just are simply piquing people's interest and deferring to, hey, let's have a conversation later. And then hopefully all of you remembered the key to that success is also having the follow-up conversation. So making sure that you follow up the next day. And so I want to make sure that everybody's done that. And I know when we're new, even when we're not new, actually, it can be a little nerve-wracking that next morning, right? That phone can get heavy again when you're like, oh my gosh, you know, what did I say? You know, or yes, they said they were open, but oh, you know, are they going to be this morning when they haven't had a cocktail or whatever, right? Make sure the follow through still happens, because we always say the fortune is in the follow through. Now, so what I was saying is that as we go into these conversations for the New Year's, you're going to be hearing people say, oh my God, you know, I want to lose weight, I want to make more money. Again, back to, don't just vomit the information on them. Say, oh my gosh, you know what, I have similar goals. Why don't we talk tomorrow? I'll call you tomorrow. We'll talk about business. We'll talk about our goals and how we can help each other accomplish those goals. And then that's again where the follow through comes through. So speaking of goals, my conversation today is about goals, but more importantly, yes, it's important to set goals. We absolutely want to set goals. Otherwise, we're just kind of, you know, getting on a plane. If you get on a plane, you go, well, I want to go from California to New York. Well, you have that destination, right? And then there's obviously a lot of different routes you can take to get from California to New York. So you have the goal to get to New York. So here in ACN, whatever your goal is going to be for the calendar year of 2020, for the quarterlies, right, in the 2020 first quarter, second quarter, et cetera, at the monthlies, what you want to do in the month of January, and then the dailies. So one of the things one of my mentors talks to me about is, yes, it's important to set goals, but equally, if not more important, it's important to set goals of what you're going to do in your DMO, your daily method of operation. And so let me also tell you, I'm having this conversation with myself, which is funny, I can see myself today. And so I'm having this conversation with myself, not just with you. Okay, so as we set our yearly goals, and then we set our quarterly goals, and then we set our monthly goals, we should consider having an accountability partner to go over, did we accomplish our daily goals? Because yes, we need the bigger goal, but we also need to know what effort are we going to put in consistently daily. Now, some of you who are new are like, wait a minute, y'all said this is supposed to be part-time, spare time around our families, our careers, you know, church, charity, everything we've got going on. Absolutely. I think we would all agree, and I'm sure Mr. Thomas has done the math for you because I know he's done it for me. If there's 24 hours in a day, if we sleep for of those, right, that leaves us however many, 16, I think. If you work an 8-hour day, but you have to commute and drive, so let's give you 10 hours for work. That leaves 6 hours still, right, for family. So a couple hours for dinner, that still leaves you 4 hours. Hour for breakfast, that leaves you 3 hours. So hour for personal development reading, that leaves you 2 hours. An hour to just sit and do nothing because that's how you relax or whatever, this will leave you 1 hour. If you take 1 hour a day, consistently 1 hour a day to build your ACN business, and again, I'm talking to me too, you take 1 hour a day consistently to build your ACN business. Once you get into that rhythm and once you start to create that momentum, here's what you magically find is you have more time in the day to put into your ACN opportunity. The more you put in, you start to generate that success. And when you generate that success, then that is where it becomes even more fun for you. And when it's fun and you're making money, then that seems to motivate you more, right? And when you're motivated, then you put yourself into action more. So it's a circle. And I know we all haven't been together in person for a really long time, but as leaders, we have this circle about, belief and action and all that. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. But it starts with you taking that initial action, okay, set the goals, but take that initial action consistently daily, and then have a buddy. It's not that you and your buddy have to talk every single day, but figure out when you're going to talk, whether it's going to be every day if you want, or if it's going to be every other day or once a week. But make sure you have somebody who will not only check in with you about how you did on your DMO, your daily method of operation, but also hold you accountable, like actually hold you accountable. And if you're that person that's going to have a buddy that's going to, hold somebody else accountable, hold them accountable. Actually, like people are always like, wow, Mrs. Roeder, you're so direct. Yes, are we here to make money? Right? Yes, I'm here to make friends and all that good stuff, but I have fun. Right? We're here to be profitable in our business. And so holding each other accountable is an expression of love, in my opinion. It's kind of like parenting. For those of us who are parents, right? When we hold our children accountable, it's an expression of love. My husband said the other day, if my daughter does whatever, he's gonna take her car away, we just bought her a new car. And I'm all, oh wow, you better be ready for that actual action, right? So we have to be able to hold each other accountable. So on the daily method of operation, again, you don't have to do all things all the time. And so whatever before you go to bed at night, decide what you're going to do tomorrow. This is the way in which successful business people do business. They don't just wake up and go, what am I going to do today? They actually know kind of what their calendar looks like, whether it's a day, a week, a month, or a year for some businesses. But before you go to bed at night, know what your action plan for the next day is. Are you going to make those follow-up calls to people that saw the business that day? Are you going to do follow-up calls to get customers? Are you going to do follow-up calls to see, people who you asked to become a customer, they said yes, but you never follow through to actually put them in the system in your on your website? Is your action plan going to be to go out and contact people to recruit? Is your action plan going to be set up a PBZ, or for those of us who are getting together, a CBR, actual live personal business reception? So my conversation today is just about, yes, set those goals, but put it into daily method of operation action, and also find a buddy that you can actually work alongside and hold each other accountable. The other key to success in this too is being rewarded. Yes, we get rewarded financially when we do the work. However, reward yourself. So if you set a goal for example, I'm just making this up. Let's say you decide, in 1 week, you're going to contact 40 people in your contact list and have a private business reception, or PBZ, private business Zoom. And you do that and you contact those 40 people, and you don't get to decide their answers, right? We already know this. So whatever their answers are, you invite everybody to your PBZ, whether you have all 40, 20, 10, or one person show up for your PBZ. If you set those goals and you actually do those actions, regardless of the results, because we don't get to choose what the results are, we just have to do the action, right? then reward yourself at the end of the PDZ with whatever it is you predetermined. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be some sort of reward, whatever your reward would be, whether it's, go buy yourself some ice cream or get a massage. That would be one night, right? Ladies, get your nails done. Whatever your reward would be, make sure you're rewarding yourself along the way, not just with the bank account that the ACN will pay you, but with whatever it is that you decide to do. So to kind of sum up, because I don't know how much time I have left, no clock in front of me. To summarize this, again, when we're at our New Year's Eve, New Year's kind of parties right now this week, don't vomit. Just when you hear somebody saying, oh, I really want to make more money in 2020. Gosh, yeah, me too. I have that same goal. Hey, listen, now's not the time, but let's talk tomorrow and see how we can support each other in accomplishing those goals. Okay, they're going to get excited because they're going to feel like they have support. Make sure you follow through, right? And then do it the right way, which is, again, we promote people, not the business. Anyway, then with that, whatever goals you set for 2022, which is so crazy to say, your yearly goal, your quarterly goals, your monthly goals, but then it all stems down to daily method of operation. What are you going to do every day? Something for 1 hour at least, right? 1 hour a day consistently. And what buddy are you going to find to hold each other accountable and reward yourself after you do the action steps that you've set out? Because again, we cannot control what other people decide to do. We can only control that if we say, I'm going to call 40 people to invite them to my PDZ, that's the only thing we can control is calling those 40 people. We can't control who gets on and what they decide. So reward yourself for taking the action steps in which you decide to take. So, Mr. Thomas, I don't know how much time I have left. I hope I'm within my time. But that's what I have today. So if there's more time left, if there's anything else you want me to talk about, or if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. But I'm going to go ahead and thank you. By the way, I just kind of started talking. You all have heard me time and time again talk about Mr. Thomas, and it still holds true. I love one of the things that I love about the most about Mr. Thomas is how much he loves other people. And I haven't shared this story in a while. I don't know what time it is, Mr. Thomas. Let's see. Okay, I have a couple more minutes. So I'm going to tell this story because I want everybody to understand the weight in which the quality of man that you get to work with every single day. Okay, so some of you have heard this story. So when I first got started in ACN, one of the leaders had organized for Mr. Thomas to come to Sacramento, where I was plugging in for training, and he was coming, and there was a Friday night leadership that he was going to train, like through leadership, and you had to qualify to get in. So I qualified to get in, but then there was this leadership dinner after the couple hundred people, and you really had to do this anyway. You had to really qualify to get in, and I worked my tail off to go to dinner with Mr. Thomas. So I was super excited. He didn't know who I was, but I figured out at this point in my ACN journey, in the very, very beginning, that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I figured out that I wanted to spend time with the top producing ACN leaders, right? So I was like, I'm going to this dinner. Worked my tail off. Well, even though my husband had a position, because I bought it for him because I know it's Social Security, he wasn't actively building ACN at the time. And he had asked, but he saw me having fun and making money. And he's like, hey, can I go to your thing Friday night? I'm all, no, right? And he's all, why not? I go, well, number one, we dress nice and you're a cowboy and you're not allowed to go in jeans. So no. And number two, no, this is my thing. I've been trying to get you to go, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so next thing I know, I get dressed, I go in my car, and he jumps in my car wearing jeans. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing, sir? So I take him down to Sacramento. We go through this leadership, and he's watching Mr. Thomas on the stage, and I'm, frantically taking notes. I'm so excited to go to dinner with Mr. Thomas. Well, it dawned on me in the middle of this leadership that my husband was with me, and the next morning, Saturday morning at 6 a.m., he was doing a concrete pour, which meant he had to get up at 4:30, meet the guys, anyway, it's this big, huge concrete pour. So I was devastated because I realized I can't go to dinner now because I can't have him out until midnight and then have to get up early in the morning. So when the training was over, everybody swarms on Mr. Thomas, right? So I kind of make my way over and I rudely sort of say, I'm sorry, Mr. Thomas, I just please just like to introduce myself to you. My name is Keri Roeder. I've only been in the business for a short amount of time, but I'm going to be a senior vice president. That was amazing. I apologize. I worked my tail off, it's probably a different word, to qualify to go to dinner with you. However, my husband came along and he has to pour concrete tomorrow morning and at 6 a.m. And so I can't go to dinner with you. And I'm rambling on. He goes, where's your husband? I'm like, oh, right? Because I didn't quite know Mr. Thomas yet. So I dragged Brad over and Mr. Thomas and my husband Brad, he's like, hello, sir, right? And they instantly have this kinship. It was great. It was so great. And so we leave, blah, blah, blah. So then a couple of months later, at an international training event, and we're at the hotel, and Brad and I are going up the because now, by the way, that sold my husband out. He started building the business with me, which was cool. That's how we hit RVP in 3.5 years. Anyway, so we're going up the escalator, and Mr. Thomas is coming down the escalator. And mind you, he meets thousands of people, right? And he sees me, and he sees my husband, and he yells, how'd that concrete pour go? And I seriously get it told every time I tell the story. My heart exploded. Out of thousands of people that he meets, he remembered the two of us. And so it didn't matter that I didn't get to go to dinner with him that night, because the 3 minutes of conversation that I got to have with him solidified that this is a man that I want to follow. This is a man that I want to model after, not just an ATM, but as a parent, right? As a significant other, as a leader in life and in business. And so I share that story with you because I don't ever want anyone to take advantage of what it is that you have direct access to every single day. He's just amazing. So thank you for listening to that story. It's been 11 and a half years since that happened, and it still gives me the chills. It still warms my heart. And it's still, yeah, Brad's upstairs, and he's so in love with you, as am I, because you're just an amazing person. And I just want everybody to know that, the whole world. And I could keep talking about how great he is, but I'm still talking now and turn the call back over to you, Mr. Thomas.